Welcome back to the WSXM channel. You don't know, my name is Stefan, so thanks for watching. Spread the word, tell a friend, like, comment, share, subscribe. So, President Ramaphosa, I'm not a fan of his. I don't really like his policies. Actually, I don't like any of his policies. I don't like what he says because he lies a lot. But not because I don't like someone, when they do something that's for the country and for the citizens of that country, I will always I will always give them their props. And in this case, he signed into law, finally, the land expropriation without compensation. And that's, as we all know, that's the EFF main policy they always talk about and bring up in parliament and they campaign on it, and that's what they always get at. But he did it. Not 100% that's how we wanted, but it's a step in the right direction. So let's take a look at anyway, and that's him there. He's signing, doing the signing ceremony, putting it into law, and of course he gave a little speech. But I'll get to the speech. But let's get to the law, and let's see what the law entails. Let's put it up. So here you see that. Let's read it. It says, this bill ascended to by President Ramaphosa outlines how expropriation can be done and on what basis. This law will assist all organs of state, local, provincial, and national authorities to expropriate land in the public interest for various reasons. In terms of this law, expropriation authority may not expropriate property arbitrarily or for a other than public purpose or in the public interest. So that's what was signed into law. And immediately after that, we know the DA party, which is a arm of the former colonial masters, lit immediately put out a press release. Both of the spokesman for the Democratic Alliance Party and also the leader himself spoke. Let's first hear what the spokesperson said, and then what the leader said, and then also what the Secretary General of the ANC party said. But we're gonna go one by one at a time. First, the spokesperson of the Democratic Alliance. Take a listen. Boom.
Democratic Alliance considers the signing of the appropriation bill into law by President Ramaphosa in an extremely serious way. This is an attack on the constitutional rights of all South Africans. The Democratic Alliance spoke to our lawyers and we got the legal opinion that this signing of this act is definitely in contravention of the stipulations of Section 25 of our Constitution. The Democratic Alliance will definitely do everything in our means to stop this act from coming into effect.
So that's him. So obviously, you see, first thing they're saying, oh, that's illegal, and they're going to go to court and it's against the Constitution. But didn't they know that this was against the Constitution when they took our land by force during the apartheid times? Well, anyway, let's take a listen to what the member of the DA said. Not the member, the leader of the DA party said. Boom.
Yesterday wrote directly to President Ramaphosa to do the following things: to object in the strongest possible terms to the fact that he simply signed the Expropriation Act this week in contravention of a clear legal opinion and concerns submitted by the Minister of Public Works that the act is in fact unconstitutional and could quite easily be remedied by sending it back to Parliament.
And again, they're uttering the same thing. This is mind-boggling to me. Anyway, we're going to dissect what's mind-boggling, but let's listen to what the Secretary General said now, the ANC party. They finally have a backbone and stood up. So let's listen to what he said. Take a listen. Boom.
These bills are not new. They went into those ministries knowing very well that expropriation bill has been passed and it's just waiting the signature. The president, before he signs, he follows the Constitution. So he can't sign something that is unconstitutional. If the DA and their partners, they believe what the president has signed is unconstitutional, then they've got an avenue to go to court to challenge that.
So there you have it. We have everyone speaking out. Well, the unmelanin people naturally who have, I think, 90% of the property and have 75% of the farmland. Of course, their party will always be against this bill because this bill would actually, if it was put in full force, would actually lose what they was told because there's proof. Once they can find proof that this land was stolen and they have people who have the documentation for this land, it will be returned. The only thing I didn't like with the law, it says it will they can only take it if it's in public interest or for public purpose. I don't so like that wording because that means he cannot, if they take the land from the who stole the land, expropriated, they cannot give it back to the owners because that would not be in the public interest or in that would be more like personal interest. So I'm still wary about the terminology because it was not put into full effect as how Julius Malema wanted it to be. It is strictly land expropriated without compensation. And that means returning the property to their rightful owners. And people are going to say, how are you going to know who's the rightful owner? It's easy. Unless this document was stolen or burnt or destroyed, people typically have and hold on to their land deeds and the payment on these land tax. So most people keep hold on to this because they are in the mindset of one day we get our land returned. So naturally, I like the fact that he put a foot in the right direction, but I didn't like the fact that the wording of the law was not as how President, for instance, President of Zimbabwe, President Robert Mugabe, what he did is actually took back the land from all those who took it and returned it back um, to his citizens. Well, not all of it, but most of it was returned to his citizens. So I wanted that kind of mentality and that kind of brave and boldness from the ANC party, but that's not the case. This case is saying that they can take the land and use it for public interest, like maybe build a field, a basketball field, or make roads or something. It didn't say anything about like giving it back, and that's the only part I don't like. So I'm gonna listen. I want to listen to hear what Julius Malema gonna say about this as well because it's very interesting. So anyway, good job for well, a semi good job on President Ramaphosa's part. Semi good job, but congratulations for actually taking a step in the right direction. Let's hope in the future we can take that step further and actually return the stolen property, take it back from these invaders who unalive, um who set dogs on us, who do all the terrible things they have done to our brothers and sisters prior to 1994. And it was brutal. And I think people tend to forget the brutality in which they treated our African brothers and sisters in those days. And you will still, up to today day, you will have black South Africans who will stand by the DA party's position by taking in the ANC to court and trying to overturn this law. You will have those colonized minds, black South Africans will actually stick with the DA party and agree with them 100% on this, even though it's in their own best interest. Because take a look at it, 75% of the land that's for farming is owned by the white South Africans. And keep this in mind, we're talking about hundreds of acres of property. We're talking about 1 acre or 2 acres. We're talking about hundreds of acres of property, farm property that is in the invaders' hands. Think about that. While we, as black South Africans, well, not we, I'm not a South African. My heritage stretches back to Ghana, but as an African descendant, we need to get back these things in order and take back what was rightfully ours. Hence the reason why I'm applauding this. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree? Do you think some of our black brothers who are still have a colonized mindset will stick with the DA party and agree with them and actually back them in this saying this is unconstitutional? Number one, before we close off, the constitution was not written by black South Africans, it was written by white South Africans. And naturally, they will always run back to that because that's one of the big fails of President Mandela. He did not ratify the constitution the way it should to support black South Africans and give them more um, economical power and more. We only get voting power. Basically, we didn't get no economical revolution like what President Abraham Traore has done in Burkina Faso by making the economy work for the citizens of the country. Anyway, so let me know what you think about this. I could go a lot deeper, but for now, let's stop it there and let me know what you think about it in the comment section about this land expropriation. Finally, but not 100%, but like 75% of it 75% of the what Julius Malema wanted, or maybe less. Anyway, what do you think about it? Boom.